civilians, the factories weren't geared up for civilian work.
So you were at
So when they
Company.
were making things for home use and all that, there was none available. So this guy started this little shop up making electric motors for oil burners. So the oil burner manufacturers used to buy these motors so that they could sell their oil burners. So I worked there as a maintenance man, as a, electrician, plumber, the whole works.
What was it called?
TRM Electric.
So you went from Russell Company, the war ended, the work ended,
Yeah.
and then you went to there.
Yeah.
You were there 40 years?
No.
So going almost there. Yeah, how'd you get
So-
into sheet metal?
So after the bottom fell out, because these guys were charging such a price for their product, and General Electric and Westinghouse and all the other companies started making motors, well, the bottom fell out, so they went bankrupt, they closed up. So meanwhile, the shop that was upstairs, there was a 3-story building, was a sheet metal shop that had just moved in, and they needed, once in a while they needed somebody to wire up a machine for them and all that, and they'd ask me if I would do it, so I did it. So when this other place went broke, I was out of work for about a month or two. The sheet metal shop started putting in heating units in houses because there was a lot of buildings going on then, right after the war. So they needed somebody to put in the furnace and wire it up and get it going, the oil burner and all that. So they hired me. So I worked for them putting in oil burners, it's a heating system, until the bottom fell out of that. Then the guys started doing it out of their trucks or their cars. They could buy the fittings already made. So these shops that were making this stuff all by hand, there was no more profit in it. So they went out of that business. But because I was good for them, taking care of their equipment and fixing it, and I was pretty handy welding and stuff like that, they kept me on.
So that's where you learned how to weld.
No, I didn't. I learned how to weld before that.
Did
For
grandpa?
TRM.
Oh, for TRM.
Yeah.
I didn't know grandpa.
So then when the bottom fell out of there, I went to work, like I said, I went to work for the sheet metal company, and then I was working for them, and then their heating system went out of business, so I was left hanging, but they still kept me on.
This Pedilac?
They still kept me on because I was doing work for them in their houses and things like that, putting wiring up and all that kind of stuff. So then they got in the union, and the guys were getting raises, automatically and all that stuff. And I said to myself, well, what the hell? If I'm over here,
Yeah.
I might as well come in on this money too. So I asked to join the union. So I had to go to night school for 2 years to learn the trade through the union
Through the union. Where was the night school?
in Hartford, in the vinyl school or state school. So,
How old were you then?
well, I was married then, so I must have been about 22, 24. So that's how I become a sheet metal mechanic. Not that I ever loved it that much. I'd rather do electrical work myself.
Really? I never knew that.
Oh,
I never
yeah.
even knew you liked the electrical better.
Oh yeah, I'd rather, that was my main thing. But that's the way it turned out for me.
So
But it
then-
turned out good because I got 40 years in, so
Yeah.
I got good pension. If they can hang on to it now, the way things are going. Maybe lose that.
You're gonna lose your. Oh, now?
Well, sure, because there's more guys retired than there is working.
Oh, right.
Where is this
right.
money gonna come from?
Okay. Right.
Every hour that a guy works now, so much of it goes in.
To support the. I see what you're
Right.
saying.
But if these guys are not working,
Right. They're laid off. Nothing's going in. Right.
so it trickles right down. It's not a good situation for nobody. And all the pensions are in trouble like that.